is Chantelle Bielak, and I'm the owner of Traveling the Seas, a boutique travel agency. Eugene Uhuad from Foam Fighters and I started That Local Life to highlight local businesses in Edmonton, restaurants and activities that we can all start enjoying. Because honestly, we're local businesses too. Today we have Caitlin with us from Range Road. Welcome, Caitlin.
Hi, thanks for having me. I really appreciate you doing this and being here.
Definitely. Range Road is Canadian cuisine. Their tastes and dishes are inspired by our country's fields and forests, the mountains and the oceans. They invite you to explore the taste that Western Canada has to offer. And honestly, when you walk in, the first thing you notice is the smell. I'm salivating. It's delicious. They use locally sourced ingredients and provisions from the farms and small-scale producers across Western Canada, and that's a cornerstone of the restaurant's vision. Their menu is dictated by the season, and they aim to use every part of the ingredient. It sounds delicious. So we've got 6 questions today here for you, Caitlin, and the first one is, how did you get started in business?
So I started working in restaurants as a way to pay my university tuition. Like a lot of people, I was a student. I worked as a bus girl in the evenings, went to school during the day, and then I just gradually worked my way up. Soon, what I was doing to kind of get my education and pay for my career became my career. So I became more and more interested in food and wine. I became more and more engaged in the whole restaurant experience. I just love it. I love the community of the people I work with. I love working with customers every night. I love the ability to have new experiences all the time. I too am a big fan of travel, and I've always experienced different cultures through food, through drink, through the way in which we break bread together. So that was a huge part of it that really solidified my love of restaurants, food, and culture was experiencing those things through travel also. So
I love that because I'm the same. I just kept doing stuff in the industry, working in travel, and then all of a sudden one day I was like, this is my career. I mean, people are paying me to do this. How fortunate. That's awesome.
yeah.
Our second question, which you kind of touched on a little bit, is what do you enjoy most about what you do?
Yeah, again, it's the connection. It's the connection to people. It's sharing experiences. We get to facilitate a special event or a special occasion every night of the week. So that, I think, I never take that for granted, that people are here to connect with their friends, with their family. We're sometimes there at the beginning of a relationship, and we're often there at the end. We're often that place where people come to remember loved ones that they may have lost. So we're there for every celebratory moment in life. And so being able to provide a space or, sort of an envelope or experience to share that is really special. And then, there's also just the hedonistic kind of quality of putting the most delicious thing in your mouth. I'm the beverage director, the wine director at the restaurant, so I of course have an interest in wine. So introducing people to a good bottle of wine or a nice glass that would pair with their meal is also really nice.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Now, in an industry where there's lots of competition, what do you think makes you unique? What makes Range Road unique?
I think for us, it's always been the specificity of the sourcing of our products, and that goes first to the food and the farms. So before we opened the restaurant, we had started these wonderful relationships with farmers. So we started doing farm dinners on Edmonton area farms on Range Roads, hence the name Range Road. And that was our opportunity to introduce guests, the dining public, whomever, to this amazing product that's available right in our backyard, and this idea that we have this world-class food scene, really. And it starts, to us, we think it starts with the producers. So that's always been at the heart of it, is just that direct connection. So we have a respect for the ingredients that we're bringing in. We don't like ingredients that have traveled on a truck for 2-4 weeks or whatever. So everything's at its freshest possible state. And then
Well, you bring in whole animals as well, right? Like when we went and did a tour of the facility, like
animals.
entire animals on like a pulley system in the back into a giant fridge freezer.
Yes, and yeah, absolutely.
Crazy.
So we've done that since we've opened, and so we started out with a very small, tiny fridge, just jammed with an entire pig's carcass.
Oh my gosh.
So
and fresh pig carcass too,
that's
right? Yeah.
So we actually, and that allows us to have, some control over the utilization of the animal and everything that goes into our menu. So when we started, what we do now is we get the kill and chill. So the animal goes to a small provincial abattoir in the country and then comes directly to us, and then here we break it down. We've got full-time butchers on staff, and then they break down the animal, and they're responsible for getting it ready for the menu. Yeah.
Cool.
Exactly. And we can dry age everything in-house. Our beef, for example, we dry age it for a minimum of 30 days. So then we can customize everything that goes on the plate.
Literally, farm to table.
Yeah.
Done in the back.
Yeah.
Our next question is, what's your biggest challenge right now, and how are you pivoting? Obviously, we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing?
Yeah, it's been an amazing experience, amazingly challenging and difficult, and like nothing we've ever encountered. And it's forced us to re-examine our entire business model. So we made the call to shut down pretty early on when things were getting a little crazy in March, and we decided to close to the public our doors, so no dining, but we didn't close down completely. We kept cooking. I remember just calling our team of chefs and saying, you know what, we got to figure out our to-go menu, and it can't look like what we serve in the restaurant, which can be quite intricate and precious and beautifully plated and artful and
experiential.
Exactly. So we had to think about what people really need at home, in the home environment, and a lot of that came down to comfort. So we immediately switched to pot pies and empanadas. We have a guy who works with us from Mexico, so he makes the best empanadas and things like that. So it gave us an opportunity to really show what our cooks could do, but in a totally different environment. We did shepherd's pie, a lot of old favorites. We did meatloaf. So all those things that really were nostalgic and comforting, and then hoped that we could get them to the people in a safe way. So that was our big challenge. Yeah.
And you're still offering that service now?
We are. Yeah.
Is it going to stay?
I think it will. Yeah. And I think we'll find it. That'll have a lot of staying power for the restaurant industry at large. I think there's going to be an interesting switch to what we can offer people at home as an alternative, and it's different for us because we went from really, as I said, $50 plates to $8 bites, or $8 empanadas and pot pies. So quite a transition for us.
Yeah. Our next question is, what do you think the coming trends are in your industry? And same thing, we've kind of touched about this takeout and the ability to access things at home, but is that the only thing you see really changing, or?
I think food will change. I mean, we've had to change a little bit the way we serve food. I mean, the last few years, a huge trend in dining has been small plates and sharing plates and a lot of communal dishes.
Family style.
Family style, which has been a huge cornerstone of our restaurant service also, and that has changed already. I mean, we've really eliminated a lot of communal sharing dishes, whereas interestingly, the at-home landscape, all of our meals were sharing dishes.
Well, pot pie, right? You got to take a piece of the pie.
Exactly. So there's kind of a switch from, at home dining will still be very much, the complete meal for 2, for 4, for however many, for 6, which is what we marketed during the pandemic. And then in the restaurant, it's been a complete switch to very individually portioned and paired dishes. So yeah, I mean, obviously we're not a buffet style restaurant, so we don't have to contend with that,
but still, I understand that, sharing family style, right?
Yeah.
You order the plate of Brussels sprouts and everybody has some of the Brussels sprouts.
yeah,
That's long gone.
yeah.
Crazy.
And that's been a huge trend in
Yeah.
North American dining.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the first thing I think of is definitely, right? You want those bacon Brussels sprouts, but you don't want a whole plate of them, so everybody shares.
Yeah, so our menu has changed a little bit, and it's,
So our last question today is, how can we support you? What can we do? What makes the most impact?
Well, I think this is amazing, having ways and having ways in which people become re-engaged in their community and find a way. I mean, I think one of the frustrations that I've had working in the restaurant industry in this city is knowing how world-class our dining scene is. I've traveled all over. I've been very lucky and privileged to travel a lot in my life. And dine in some of the best cities and some great restaurants. And I know that we have world-class dining in our backyard. So having the ability to rediscover that through these little programs, people, still being able to pamper themselves, treat themselves, and never get on a plane, I think is something that's very special. And so, it's forced us to really look at the way, at home with my family, my husband and my child, how do we connect when we can't just hop on a plane or get in a car and drive to a hotel? What does that look like at home? So it's been kind of interesting, really exciting, because we're discovering our river valley again, we're discovering our restaurants. Going for ice cream is now really special. Yeah.
I think that's a great note to end on too, because that's a big part of what that local life is really getting people to re-engage in our environment. We can't really travel very far right now, but we certainly can have those travel experiences in Edmonton. And when you are in the River Valley, you feel like you're on vacation. You're walking around, there's trees. You come somewhere like this, I feel like I'm on vacation. Great point, thank you. So thank you for being featured on That Local Life. It was wonderful to learn more about your business. If you or someone you know would like to be featured, send us a message. Thanks so much. Bye.